Hello, my friends. So, in girl world right now, when it comes to Amberlynn, there are two big questions that seem to continue to float around the community. And the first is, does she really have a job? Obviously not. Like, she's not good at pretending to have a job. So, I think we all know the answer to that. But still, we don't know for sure. So, the question kind of lingers. The other question is, are Amber and Emily still together? And it's hard to say, but we're going to talk about that a little bit today. If you'd like to like and subscribe, that would literally be hectic. I'm not going to lie. So, since her return to content creation or YouTube or whatever, she has made 3 shorts and a TikTok. And the first 2 shorts are trying to convince us that she has a job, which is silly, but that's the point of them, right? That was the kind of shock and awe of coming back and saying, look at me do my work from home job. But if that's really what she was trying to convince everybody about, or if that's the news she wanted to share, she could have just shown herself working, right? She could have made a short saying, look at me work from home. But instead, she said, look at me eat while I work from home. So, right out of the gate, coming back, she has set the stage that she is going to be eating on camera. This is her new thing. Not new necessarily. She's always eaten on camera. But yeah, she's going to come back and just eat all she wants on camera. And we're going to get into why I think that is in just a minute. But after these first 2 shorts, she released a TikTok. And in this TikTok, she's lip syncing to a song. And first of all, I want to show you that when she pretends to lick her lips, she's actually just licking her teeth, which is just weird. And obviously, I'm not going to play the music. It doesn't really matter. It's dumb anyway. But watch. She's licking her teeth. But anyway, she could have done this song anywhere in her apartment. She could have been sitting on her couch. She could have been in her living room, anywhere. But she decides to do it when opening the refrigerator, suggesting that you're some food watching her, I guess. I don't know. Which maybe that's what feeders are into. That they fantasize about being the food that is being shoved into their partner's mouth. I don't know. But it's just a weird vibe that, like, hey, I'm opening the fridge to do this song. And maybe that's a trend. I don't know. But it's just strange to me that 3 out of 3 so far have had food involved and been mainly kind of centered around food. And then we get to her last short, her 3rd short. And she could have filmed this in any position, right? Where she could have filmed it from the shoulders up or whatever. But she is making sure that her whole body is in the shot. Now, you might say it's just a person in front of a camera who just happens to be very large. We shouldn't be making a big deal out of the fact that she's just showing her whole body because it's just a body. But I mean, this is intentional, right? She is showing all of her stuff in the fridge again. And then she does her little transition to face gyms because of course she does. She's almost 35 years old doing face gyms, but whatever. Okay, so it's all just like body shots, right? The whole kit and caboodle for the most part, except her legs, which we'll get to that in just a minute. And then we have the food, right? She can't do anything without showing what she's eating. And here's the thing, food has always been a focal point in all of her content. And for years, we speculated, is she doing this for the feeders out there? You know, when she's eating on camera and when she's talking about food and showing her body and stuff, is she doing this so that feeders will enjoy it? And then Emily came along, and now it's pretty obvious that that's what she's doing, that she is trying to entice. The feeders will entice. That she's trying to impress the feeders out there. And maybe just one feeder out there. Now, I will say, just to play devil's advocate for a second, she doesn't show her legs at all in this video or any of them that I've seen so far since she's been back. And I don't think it's necessarily because this isn't for feeders. I think it's just she's so self-conscious about her legs that even that is too far for her, right? Like, even when she's trying to impress the feeders or a feeder, she is not going to show her legs because she hates showing her legs that much. You know what I mean? But now the question is she doing this because her and Emily are still together? Or is she doing this to maybe get a different person who would play the game with her, so to speak? And man, I don't know. I'm about 50-50 on whether or not they're still together at this point, because we know Amberlynn is not bright. We know that she is desperate and stupid enough to stay with somebody after the Emily tell most, and also stay with her after all the betrayal.
Just betrayal, 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 betrayal. Like, you go crazy.
And we know that Emily is dumb enough to be with Amber in the first place, so that's not a great look. That doesn't bode well for her intellect. But I don't know if after the snowflake incident and after all of the stuff that Emily went through, I don't know if she's dumb enough to stay with Amber after all of that. She very well could be, but it just seems really, really stupid to me. But again, if you're with Amberlynn in the first place, then you're pretty much capable of most dumb things, I would think. So there is a possibility that she's doing this for Emily, right? As almost like a communication between her and Emily of, hey, look at what I got for you, or whatever. But I also think it's just as likely that Amber realized how much she loved the feeder lifestyle, the feedee lifestyle, when she was with Emily. And they're not together anymore, but she wants to do that again. And some people are asking, do you think she's trying to make Emily jealous by doing this? And I think, in the words of Amberlynn, two things can be true. I think what's happening here, if I had to guess, is that Amber is trying to make Emily jealous and also try to find somebody new that can continue the feedee lifestyle for her. Because I really think once she got involved with Emily, she realized being a feedee is amazing. I get to just eat all I want. I don't have to care about it. And she gets this person who is kind of obsessed with her. Of course, Emily's not obsessed with her. She's obsessed with Amber's body. And that's different. But Amber doesn't care. Amber's never going to care that the person that she's looking for doesn't actually care about her. As long as they're obsessed with something about her, she's fine with it. So yeah, I think her return to YouTube or to content creation at this point is her putting her feelers out there for a new feeder partner, but then also trying to be like, hey, Emily, look what you had, and you can't have any more. Of course, you can have it if you just text me and let me know. You can have it anytime. It's here waiting for you. Because, Amber wouldn't be able to say no. If Emily texted and said, hey, let's get back together, Amber would be like, hell yeah. And who knows, they may be together. I would not put it past either of them at this point to be together. But if I had to guess, I would say she's trying to make Emily jealous while also looking for a new feeder for her newly discovered lifestyle that she loves. So I think things are getting kind of dangerous for Amber because it's clear she has no intention of losing weight anymore, which after the whole month of August and how stressed out she was obviously becoming and all the crash outs and stuff, like, I can imagine that she just doesn't care about weight or any of that stuff anymore because she crashed out hard. And instead of going to therapy, like she always claims that she does, she is just eating her feelings. And that's pretty much par for the course for her, but it's not getting any better. So I will be interested to see what she has to say when she comes back. I bet she won't talk about Emily much unless something happens, right? If all of a sudden Emily starts talking, which I don't know if that's going to happen. However, you know, Emily has a shitload to talk about. She's got lots of texts, lots of just information about Amber, and the infamous video that Amber does not want people to see of her having a tantrum or whatever.
And I just got a text from her saying, I'm going to release the video then to prove how you are. I'm literally half naked in that video. So please don't. I would appreciate that. That was me in a BPD meltdown. I'm literally half naked. You threatening me repeatedly. Like, literally, she's threatening me as I'm on here, you guys. Like, as I'm on here, literally threatening me. Like, this is the shit that I have to deal with all the time. And I fucking go crazy. I genuinely would go crazy.
So I think Amber will avoid talking about Emily unless Emily actually does kind of release some texts or something like that, you know. Which, I mean, that could happen, but I don't know. Anyway, all this just to say, I think the downward spiral that Amber's been on for years now has just kind of been expedited at this point. And being a feedee is not going to help. But I think that's what she wants. Anyway, I appreciate you guys so much. I'll see you in the next one. Take care.